Welcome to the Legacy Builders podcast, where we are redefining generational wealth one story at a time. I'm your host, Mario Gonzalez Jr., and today we have Shaun Afshari. How do you say your last name?
Afshari. Really close.
I'm sorry, man. Shaun is a CPA entrepreneur, someone who's experienced both sides of business, building things and navigating partnerships, and learning some hard lessons along the way. Shaun, thanks for coming to the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So for people hearing you for the first time, who are you and what are you building right now?
Ooh, what am I? So, my name is Shaun Afshari. I've been an entrepreneur for the last, as far as around 20 years. I've grown up in the entrepreneurial world. All my families are entrepreneur, own some sort of business. So I don't really know what it's like to be kind of on the other side as a regular employee. I've had that experience a little bit, and I did not like it. The grass is definitely not greener on that side. And right now, my current project right now is establishing myself in the state of Idaho as basically a tax specialist. I'm not a CPA, so I'm not going to take that title whatsoever. But that's what I got going on. Just briefly.
Yeah, you got a lot of stories to unpack, man.
Yes.
What problems do you enjoy solving the most?
The best problem that I like solving the most is being able to find ways to help my clients as much as possible. Whether if it's through financial planning, whether if it's through tax planning, their filings, or anything like that. Anything that has to involve with taxes or bookkeeping or numbers, and basically the P&Ls and things like that. That's kind of what I focus on currently.
Okay.
Yes.
So I kind of had you pegged as a CPA. So you said you're a tax.
I'm a tax specialist. So I am
specialist.
Yes.
Okay. What's the difference between the two?
Okay. So CPAs, I am an enrolled agent with the IRS. So what that means is I can do everything that a CPA does. The only thing that I'm not capable of doing is performing audits.
Okay.
That is a CPA thing altogether. But I can represent my clients in audits when they have them. I can basically do all the filings. I can do strategic planning for taxes. But yeah.
So an audit, is that, so you have to have licensing or maybe a certification?
Yes.
Like exactly does that entail? Why does it have to be legal? Why can't you just do it without, I guess, the cert?
Well, performing audits, you'd have to work within, there's a special certification you have to get through the CPA, and you basically have to understand like all of the codes and basically knowing the entire code book for the IRS. And like I do know it, but I would rather not take up that headache to perform the audits, because for me I prefer to help my clients during an audit rather than be the person going in to perform the audits, because nobody really likes you. When you're going to perform an audit, it means that there's something wrong.
So you're like the troublemaker. You're trying to
pretty
find
much.
issues.
I'm basically stirring the pot, and I don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
I would rather be on the defensive side to where I can help my clients plan out how to solve the audits. And I will usually be there during the audits in person to basically walk with whoever the IRS sends. And basically just guide them through all of the P&Ls, all of the reports and everything, and make sure that my clients are all compliant with everything.
Okay. What interested you about the finance world early on?
The thing that interests me about the finance world was I really got into this on accident, because I was hiring a CPA for a long time to run basically the books for my restaurant that I had out in Washington. And what I've noticed is that sometimes this CPA that I hired, sometimes, I hired him for bookkeeping too. But sometimes I look on the login logs for QuickBooks, and he hasn't signed on for like 2 months or so. And I'm looking, I'm paying this guy about $350 a month. And he's only going in looking at my books maybe once every couple months. And I'm doing all the plugins, like I'm doing all the categorization, and I'm going around studying and trying to make sure that I categorize all of my funds, all of the transactions that come through correctly. So if I'm doing all this, I basically questioned myself. Why am I paying somebody else to do it when I could do it on my own? And I was already neck deep and studying about the tax codes because there were a couple tax filings that my CPA did for me that there was a bunch of red flags.
Yeah.
That some, I know for a fact that when you do any type of retail business, any type of service industry, like a restaurant or anything like that, you don't really expect to get any money back.
Yeah.
Ever as an employer and as a business owner. So when I see my tax filings come back and I owe $2, like, something's off. So it's like, because it's weird because when we're business owners, we're expected to pay a reasonable amount. So it's like, well, we're expected to pay at least like anywhere between, $1,200 to $3,000 as far as in taxes. So when I get a tax filing summary back that says I owe $2, it's like, something seriously off. And then when I go through my books, like, look, nobody wants to pay money to the IRS. And we're trying to cut it down as short as possible. But there is some instance where you have to take a look where if those numbers are too low, it's like you can either take it as face value and risk that audit coming in, it could be this year, it could be next year, but that audit's coming.
Yeah.
Or you can take the responsible route and go through all your books, go through all the numbers, everything that's plugged in, and correctly edit it and revise it to where you're paying the right amount. And it has to reflect the amount of revenues that you're coming in and the amount of expenses that you're putting out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love your story about your CPA was doing your bookkeeping because I just literally went through that. And kind of the same situation, paying him $300 a month. He's like, hey, I'll hook you up and charge you a little bit of a discount since I'll be doing your books. And then I had Zach with ProTrade do an audit who you're working with now. And he's like, yeah, he's hardly spending any time in there. He's missing this, this, and this. And then I go back to the CPA, which is why you and I sat down for a one-on-one. And I was like, hey, man, you're like, the books suck. Like, you have not been keeping up with them. What am I paying you $300 for? $300 a month for? And then he was like, oh, well, just slam, da-da-da-da. And then I want to make it right. And he's like, I'll do your taxes for free this upcoming time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take the freebie. And after that, just wipe my hands and move on.
Yes.
So, yeah, but that does concern me because he's filed my taxes the last 2 years. And I'm sure maybe money's been left on the table, or
we can always file an amendment to do past filings, and we can always revise. You can revise it up to six years past.
Yeah.
So anything beyond 6 years, you can just forget it. But if you're within that 6-year threshold, you can definitely go back to take a look at it and revise it. And I'm pretty sure we'll be able to dig something up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Now, I won't guarantee you that. If we go through it, I can't guarantee you that your file is going to be less. It might be more. It's like, but for me, I always tell all of my clients is that the best way to not deal with the IRS is to pay your taxes. Yeah. Like if they send you a letter and they're telling you, hey, here's the amount that you owe. It's like, you can fight with them if you want. You can contest it if you want. But my recommendation is pay it first, then contest it, then fight with them. Yeah. So that way they don't have something hanging over you as back taxes. Because if you don't know, during the process of you contesting it, if you don't pay that amount that the IRS letter sends you, it's still going to get logged as being delinquent, regardless.
Dang.
So,
man, so anybody out there listening, do not let your CPA do your books.
No.
They're two separate things.
Yes.
And I had a business coach tell me that too. I had a business coach for 2 or 3 months. He told me that. I'm like, it would be fine. Fast forward a year. Nope. A bunch of bullshit. What was your first real risk you took as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, boy. Real risk I took as an entrepreneur. It was actually very recent. Was when I first moved to the state of Idaho. My goal in Idaho at first, because I've been in the restaurant industry for over 20 years, and my first plan moving to Idaho originally was to open a restaurant. And we had found a location and everything, so we moved to Idaho, basically clean house. I sold all of my assets in Washington, came here, and the day that I got here, when I finally, found a place to live and got myself situated, the deal fell through. So at that point, then I had the opportunity to start a plumbing company. And I did that. Now, the most difficult thing about that is I don't know anything about the trades world. And it was me just plugging myself in and trying to learn as I go. And it's tough when you don't have an expertise in something.
Yeah.
Because then you have to rely on your employees. And it's not, I don't know if it's just me and how I feel, but if you take over, if a person takes over a business and they don't have the expertise in it, it kills you a little bit on the inside because you don't know what to do. You don't know how to support them besides managing administratively. And over the long run, that dependency, from my experience, it leads to a lot of issues as far as compliance and alignment of visions of how we want to go in the company. So, for example, in the plumbing company that I started, I partnered up with a journeyman plumber out here who's been in business in Idaho for about 30 years or so. I come in with my expertise in management, operations, and business to business marketing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my purview. And he was more the relationship builder with the local community in the state of Idaho. So he was pretty well plugged in with the major home builders in this area, like CVH, Lennar, and all that. And the way I saw business was I always saw it from a growth standpoint. So there always had to be a timeline, where we want to be, because as you're a business owner, you open a business, you don't want to be stagnant.
Right. Yeah.
That's like you don't want, if you're still in the same position after 3 months and you're still trying to achieve your 90-day goal after that time frame, you're doing something wrong.
Something's wrong. Yep.
And it was a constant thing to where I put a lot of trust in this journeyman plumber that I brought on board, because he was the expert. He was the local guy. He knew, he supposedly knew everybody in the area, and I trust him for it. That's the worst thing that an entrepreneur can do. And from my perspective, because I didn't know the business at all, I had to put my full trust in him. I didn't really have anybody else because my resources in Idaho was very limited. All of my contacts for business and everything were in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I had to start somewhere, and I had assumed that I was going to be able to build and grow this company around around this one person. And that got me into some pretty tricky situations. To where I basically had to not pull the plug essentially, but essentially I had to end that relationship this December because it just wasn't working out. Our visions weren't aligned. He was more focused on, the slow relationship building. So he was like, "Oh, we have to go." He just constantly. It was more of he wanted to take it what I call a slow burn tactic, to where you go into a home builder or anything like that, and you slowly build that relationship with the owners and getting plugged in. And I'm more of a go. It's like I don't care if the jobs that we get are the smaller service jobs. It's like, hey, well, let's bring things in.
So was he just looking for like the bigger projects,
bigger
jobs?
projects?
Oh,
it's like bigger projects are great. I have no problem with bigger projects. You got to make
money in between time.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to find out a strategy where what works for you to bring in the money in the short term. Because if you don't have anything coming in on the short term, you don't have to you forget those big projects. You're never going to get it because you're never going to have the capital to actually invest in it, to actually take the risk. And it just made no sense. So our visions just didn't align. And that's why, if anybody who tells me about them wanting to get into a partnership, I will always say that a partnership is a mistake. I've done it twice and I've gotten burnt both times. And So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't even know. It was such a stressful situation that for like the last 3 months, I think I've nearly had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it all out. And I always thought that with this plumbing company, I was kind of afraid because for trades, you want to have that expert tradesman in your company. And I had assumed that it's like, okay, if I want to part ways with this guy, it's going to ruin the structure of my business because the people that came on board with me and my company trusted the company as a whole, that we have a licensed and experienced journeyman plumber
Right.
on our company, and that brings us credibility. But I took the risk to where I ended the relationship with him, bought him out and everything. And the weird thing was, I literally thought I had to close my doors. But that didn't happen because now I'm still having the same customers call me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they heard it. I don't know where they got the news because I didn't tell anybody, but they picked up the phone like, hey, I heard you parted ways with, this person.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you that's the best decision you've ever made.
Wow.
It's like, really? It's like, really? And then they started telling me all these things. I'm like,
dang.
oh my God. I did not know what was going on. And the one thing is that this business partner was going around and basically telling everyone that he owned the company. Like he was the sole owner. So nobody really knew who the decision maker was. And I gave him that authority. Well, I didn't really give him that authority. I gave him the freedom to go out and market the way he saw fit. And I didn't really bother him with his clients because I thought, okay, he's got his book of business and his clients that the relationships that he wants to build. Great. That's his book. And he's going to manage that relationship and I'll manage mine. What I didn't know was that relationship that he was building was completely separate from the vision of the company. Like I'm not trying to instigate or blame or try to make any false conclusions or anything like that. But I felt like whatever he was doing was not contributing to the company. And it was something that he was doing outside the company. So that revenue that was coming from there must have gone to him. So, but I don't know. This is what I just assume. But
I mean, usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes, that's true. But yeah.
Dang. That's intense.
It is very intense.
I don't have too many stories about partnerships. We talked about and talk about all the time how I still running a business with my ex-wife, which is a partnership in itself. It was very complicated. It's a lot better now, but nevertheless, like what did you take away from that moving forward? As you said, you had 2 failed partnerships. Like what red flags are you looking for in the future, or do you just not really know until you're quote unquote in bed with that person?
Well, my first partnership that I had was in the restaurant business. So the difference was I was more of the operations guy and the relationship building guy. So I always cared first about my employees.
Yeah.
I don't see them as numbers. So for me, as a successful business, in my mind, and what I've been taught, a successful business has to rely on your employees. If you don't have good employees, you don't have a good foundation, it's not going to go well because you can't do everything yourself. You have to rely,
especially if you want to grow.
You have to rely on other people's expertise. And there was a clash of ideologies to where I cared. So whenever we had an increase in revenue, I always separated that and put it towards bonuses for my employees. Because the way I see it is, hey, these guys are like, just to be completely like non-filtered, it's like these guys work their asses off. Okay. And it is wrong of me to prioritize my paycheck at the end of the day. Because as a business owner, I mean, we have a business, especially in the restaurant industry. It's like, here's the thing, guys. Most restaurant owners, we eat within the business. So we don't ever spend money on food. So it's like for us, there wasn't a lot of expenses as owners. But for my employees, on the other hand, it's like they have families. They've got car payments, they've got mortgage, they've got insurance, they've got all this. So I always saw that as the main role as an employer is to take care of them. Now, my business partner saw he was a financial guy. He was a finance guy. So he was like a financial planner with I think it was like Edward Jones or something like that. And he partnered up with me in the restaurant kind of as a pet project of his or something like that. And he saw everything from a very number standpoint. So if he saw, it's like, okay, hey, we have the data to support our growth. So this is what we should start focusing on. We should start trying to build ourselves as executive to have a compensation plan and all this. Like, we have 2 restaurants, man. Why are we talking about executive compensation and all this structure? It's like, I don't care about that. My thing is, let's take care of our employees first. And if it does get to that point where we have, 80, 100 employees, okay, we can talk about that. Yeah. But our job should never be to care about ourselves first. You should always care about the institution and the people within that institution. Yeah. Whatever it is, and take care of them. Yeah. Because whatever you do, if you take care of the people around you, everything else falls into place. And it's like that mentality doesn't make you rich very fast. Right. But it gives you peace of mind. And you always have loyalty. Yep. In the long run.
Yeah. There's so many directions I want to go with that. But let me start with this. I've been told before that, I'm running a business, not a charity. And sometimes you'll get employees, you have great ones, loyal ones, hard workers, people that bust their ass, and then you get the ones that are maybe trying but not the right fit. Yes. What's been your experience with having those difficult conversations and letting somebody go? Or how long do you continue to work with them until you're like, you know what, it's just not the right fit? Or maybe they leave themselves.
For me, I am always the type of person I believe in coaching. Yeah. So maybe because I am a strong humanist, I do believe that one person can change the world. And I do believe that the human impact can build relationships and impact the entire world around us. So for me I always prefer to take the guys that are hard to work with. So the guys that nobody wants. I always like to bring him because it's a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time, when you're able to impart your knowledge and you see that they're receptive to it, it is better than winning the lottery because you did something for them. You gave them something that they can use in their future. But there's also the flip of the coin at the same time. It's that when you take a person that nobody wants, you kind of have to really analyze and really have like deep conversations with them during your coaching process to see what kind of person they are. Yeah. Because for me, 70% of those people that nobody wants to work with, it's really not a problem with their character. It's just that they've never really had anybody who was willing to put in the time to actually coach them, to show them the ropes, to show them it's like, hey, you can be more than yourself. Like there's potential for you. Because in the corporate world, I've been in the corporate world for about 6 years after I, left my restaurant. And I've seen it from that side because I was in the corporate management side. I was still in the food industry. So I saw a lot of things and I was able to impart my experience as an entrepreneur and everything. And I see from a corporate standpoint is that everybody is a number. And if you don't put in the, let's say, the work to increase the company revenues or anything like that, you're essentially on the chopping block. And I don't agree with that mentality because I don't believe that the bad performance of one person is honestly just their fault. There has to be an institutional issue to begin with. Okay. That's the way I see it. So as far as challenges is, when you're talking about when you have
You just got that one
You got that
employee
one.
that's
You
like,
got that
"Man,
one individual
like,
that
I'm
just
trying to work with you,
yeah.
dude, but you're just not meeting me halfways,
Yep.
right?"
Yep.
Yeah.
You do have those guys, and the way I honestly push it, it's like I'm not antagonistic. I'm not disrespectful. I just tell them like, look, for me, is we're building a team. We're building a culture. We're building relationships. You can either be a part of this, and I'll list them. These are the benefits. It's like over the long run, you'll get respect. Over the long run, you'll get increase in revenue. But if you work as a team, you're able to know how to communicate. You also know how to lead. You also know how to people manage. Because most people in our world, in our entrepreneurship world, they think the word management as managing a business. It's more than that.
Yeah.
Business is people. You can't do it without people. So essentially, when you're talking about management, you're talking about people management, relationship management. And that's what I expect from everybody. So if you want to be an individualist and you want to make this about you as an individual and not care about anybody else, I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've had all these experiences. I don't care if your resume is great. You've worked for like the top places on the planet. I don't care. If you can't fit into the team that's here, there's no place for you.
Yeah.
Because this is not how it works. Yeah. And when you bring up to that, in my experience too, is like when you have that one guy that's just stirring a pot, and this brings me to another thing is unions. The company that I was at when I was managing, at first when we started, there wasn't a union. Everything was great because then it was all about the amount of hard work that you put into it. And you got to see, like you saw the guys who got the higher pay. You saw the guys who were top performers. They were busting their butts off.
Yeah.
And they earned every bit of it. Now, there's human envy that comes into play because instead of, I don't know why it is, but I guess it's just nature of human beings.
Yeah.
When there's a small portion of the population that when we see success in other people, we don't look at it as being proud of them or wanting to go further. We look at them as, man, that person must have had kissed somebody's butts to get there, or you know that person must have rubbed shoulders the right way. That person must have bend their butts backwards just to get that position. It's like, no, it's not that. It's like jealousy is very negative when it comes to that. And when you have a successful operation and you have good people who are doing the work, those few that get left behind, I don't want to call them lazy. I don't want to call them as they're unskilled or unmotivated, but in truth, they are. That's just it. And it's always those small portions of people who want the quote unquote equity or the equality in the workplace. And that's when unions arrive. It's because of the small fraction of people who have the discontent, and they're forcing streamline equity and equality in the workplace all across the board and completely taking out the significance of those hard contributors.
Yeah.
And that's been like the biggest issue so far in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've every time I sit down with an employee, I'm like, what are your goals? Like, are you trying to buy a house? Like, what's your goals? Because I've been on the corporate side too. I did 8 years in software sales. So I'm used to living a quarter at a time and just being a number, right? So I get it. But early on, when I started actually hiring employees and working on the business and not in it, I would take those people that just needed a second chance, could get a job anywhere else.
Yes.
And I would try and work with them and mold them. And then just, man, it was tough. I had, for me personally, with my experience, and maybe it's the industry that I'm in,
Yes.
I felt like I had to be cutthroat. Like, hey, we're not a good fit. Sorry, move on to the next one. Because there's liabilities too, right? You're handling dogs, and dogs can run away, or like there's aggression. So maybe it's just the industry that I'm in. Yes. But that was tough for me. The first time I went I had to fire somebody because they just weren't a good fit. I was literally shaking, dude. I was sweating.
People think that like entrepreneurs and bosses like firing people.
No.
It's like, we do not like if you're watching right there.
Asshole bosses out
No,
there.
it's like,
but yeah,
like, the
if
thing
you
is,
truly care about somebody, it's gonna suck.
like, you don't understand, like, the process to firing somebody, it is the hardest process because you want to give this person another chance. You want to make sure that this person elevates himself to another level. You want them to see him successful. So if you have to sit back, and especially if you invest a lot of time in this person, in the individual, in the employee, and then you have to consider firing them, it kills you every single time because you're not just looking at their faults. You're looking at yourself as well. Like, what did I do wrong as the leader?
Yeah.
Did I provide enough coaching? Did I provide a direction? Did I provide a vision enough? It's like, what's going on here? Because it constantly, it's a problem that constantly stirs in your head all the time. And it never goes away as an entrepreneur.
And if you're a good entrepreneur, striving to be a good entrepreneur, continuously learning from those experiences and applying it, like you can't just continue to have these experiences and not try and fix it. Otherwise you're going to end up in the same shit show that you have been in. Yeah. And also, what I learned the hard way is that shit rolls downhill. Like you have, if you're asking your employees to be on time, you got to be on time, right? Like you have to show them, lead by example kind of thing. It sounds very cliche, but that's what it is.
That's what it is because
it's culture.
It's like as an owner, it's like, even if this is why I never understood businesses that have what do you call that? Like off-site owners who just remote owners who don't show up. It's like I never, like, the thing is, you can be remote, yes, but as long as you're plugged into your operation and you're calling, asking questions like, hey, what's going on? Hey, like, what's up? Like, like, why do we have these problems here? What's going on with the sales? What's going on with this customer? That's fine if you're still involved. But now the uninvolved owners who basically just, I hired a general manager, here you go, and then I'm going to go off and fish. I never understood that because it tells me that you don't care enough about your business at all, since you're just kind of putting all the responsibilities to this guy you just hired. And how do you know if that manager is going to run it exactly the way you do? Because every person has a different style of management. Oh, yeah. Every person has different considerations as far as what they want, what their visions are. So it's like, you got to be attentive. You got to be involved, like, at all times. It's like, you can take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, but it doesn't mean that you're not there.
What I recently did in that regards, and I'm going to apply it to my other businesses, is creating lanes, because my whole intention when I did get into this dog training business is at some point I want to work on it, do the things I love, like the marketing, advertising. I want to be able to drive the leads and the sales, and then it's y'all's job as a team to train the dogs and take care of them, right? I want the customers to know I exist. I've been the face for far too long, so that's kind of where I'm at. But I kept finding myself recently over the last 5, 6, 7 months, continuing to have to fix problems or be like the conduit between my ex-wife and then the general manager, and then them both coming to me with issues, and then me like trying to, I almost felt like I was passively aggressively trying to fix the problem. I'm like, guys, I can't do it anymore. So I created systems and lanes. I'm responsible for this. You're responsible for this. You're responsible for this. And so even just within the last week, has alleviated so much, right? But to the point of being remote, like finding people's motivators and what their strengths are, because I mean, I don't want to go in and train another dog. I'm done. I've trained over 500 dogs personally at this point. I'm good. So I want to make sure that the person that I do hire loves training dogs, right? They don't hate advertising. Cool. I freaking love it. So mapping to people's strengths and finding those lanes has been a game changer.
So it's like, if you hate putting out fires and you're not good at it, you got to offload that and give it to somebody else. Like, another, like, one thing about me is, maybe the one fault that I have is maybe because I'm too nice of a person. But when you have a business and then you have invoices that you sent out to customers and stuff. I don't know if you've had this, but sometimes you have customers that just don't pay.
I've had it. Yep.
Yeah. And you know, for me is I you know, you send out reminder letters and stuff. You're like, hey, you know, you have a back invoice, like please get it paid as soon as you can. Or if you need any options, give us a call and we'll work something out. And then if it gets to the point where they're consistently not paying, like if it's an invoice from like 6 months, 9 months, and all that, it's like I have a really hard time because I've been in that position to where, you know, we financially struggled. So I get it. And I don't want to be the person, the best way to say it, I don't want to be the asshole person to try to send them to collections and collect all that. And I hate it. So for me, is the way I handle that is I hire a person to do that. It's like the person that doesn't mind being an asshole to somebody, like, go. I don't want to deal with that. So if there's any back invoices, you guys deal with it. Yeah. I want to be out of it. I'd rather focus on the positive sides of things, like the mentoring and bringing in more business, the business to business connections.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because I'm a very just generous person, and I think sometimes that works against me because sometimes I'm too understanding, and I give people a lot of just kind of too relaxed sometimes, and so. Even though I created, you know, a write-up process, sometimes I don't always follow it. Sometimes I give them 2 breaks, and which turns into 3, which is stupid because we tell dogs the first time if they don't listen, then we make a correction, right? Yes. So why wouldn't I apply that to my human employees? Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's definitely a huge learning curve.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance. As a business owner, there's a balance between the bottom line and empathy. Yeah. The hardest part is to find that middle ground. Yeah. Like I think you and I are lean more towards the empathetic side. So it's like it's hard.
That's what I'm saying though. Is,
so it's like you have to lean it back a little bit.
I've been leaning more towards like, hey man, hard line, crossed it. Sorry.
Yeah. And nobody wants to do that. No, nobody wants to have, you know, the 3-strike write-up. Nobody wants to go about that. But if you're not contributing and you're not doing your fair share to help us grow, I'm sorry, but there's got to be decisions to be made. It's hard, but I mean, entrepreneurship is also about self-preservation. And most people don't realize that. Like you can be more than willing to help people. That's great. But you can't help people if you don't have the money to do it. Yeah. That's what most people don't realize. They think it's this altruistic thing where, I can help people without having money. It's like, well, if you want to donate money to like, you know, a veterans group or anything like that, or you know, help the homeless or anything like that, you got to have money. You can't just go there with just the content of your character. You got to contribute somehow too. Yeah.
Speaking of money, what's your definition of generational wealth, or what does it mean to you?
To me, it's generational wealth is a topic I've been thinking about a lot, and I understand the concept of generational wealth to where you want to leave something for the future, whether it's your kids, your grandkids, or whatever it is. But at the same time, there's also this issue with generational wealth that it risks your future generations of being lazy to an extent. Yep. And they think that they have access to this trust fund, so they don't have to work as hard. Yeah. They don't have to contribute as much because the security is there. So this is where it's tough for me to think about it because like I understand the need for it. I understand when you need to have a strong, you know, trust fund, you need to have savings and all that for your kids, so whether if it's college expenses or things like that. But leaving millions of dollars for your kids in a trust fund, or whether if it's, you know, whoever it is as part of the trust, I feel like generational wealth has to be controlled a little bit. Like, you know, there has to be caveats. There has to be contracts. There has to be there has to be guidelines from the follow to be able to access
You can't
it.
just turn 18 and then have access.
No, and I've seen so many people, especially in Seattle, because Seattle has tons of money, and it's all tech money. So a lot of these guys who were, the founders or the beginning group, the beginning programmers of Microsoft and all that, I've gone to high school with their kids,
Yeah.
and I've seen what they turn into. I've seen them become drug addicts. I've seen them squandering their entire wealth away. I've seen them basically sleeping on other people's couches. And I don't want that for my kids.
Yeah.
So for me, it's generational wealth, I would say is needed, yes. But I would also say there needs to be restrictions, as in, let's say, hey, so for example, one thing that, as we probably see in the marriage topic, we see divorces.
Right.
And when there's trust fund, it gets very, very complicated.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I thought about is like, if I had a kid and he was about to get married and stuff, and we had a trust fund, I thought it was a pretty good idea. So me, as the person who started the trust fund, to say, if you want access to the trust fund and you plan to get married, one of the requirements is sign a prenup.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. So it's like, so that way my kid doesn't have to have the conversation and be the mean guy or girl. Blame it on me.
Yeah.
I'm the one that instituted that policy. So it's like, hey, if you want to have access to trust fund, you better have a prenup.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And another thing that I would say is the trust fund the only way generational wealth, I think, makes sense is if that money is put aside for entrepreneurial purposes. So, as we all know, opening a business these days, it's not like in the past. You can't just walk into a space and go, I like this space. I'm going to pay first and last. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's not the way it works. Not these days. I mean, these days, you get into a space.
It's expensive, man.
You have the build out.
Yeah.
You have the permitting, you have the codes, you have all of this. So it's like, by the time you're done,
even the overhead expenses just keep the lights on.
it keeps going. And the thing is, with inflation, with everything that's going on, and minimum wage laws and requirements, it's like it takes a toll. And like, I think like 20 years ago, you were able to open a restaurant on $75,000.
Yeah.
Because you can do the build outs and everything basically yourself. Now these days, with all these regulations and everything, to build a restaurant, you need close to $300 million. I mean, not, oh my God, $300 million. No. $300,000. I am wrong. No. That must be like a Trump restaurant or something. It's $300 million. Yeah. But yeah. But I would say generational wealth, I would primarily consider that as an entrepreneurial tool. To where if my future descendants want to open a business, they do have access to that to start something on their own.
Yeah.
But I don't really believe in giving straight up cash.
Yeah.
In a trust fund.
Gotcha.
It has to have a purpose.
So
that's the way I see it.
I love this question because originally when I started these conversations, I thought the same thing. Generational wealth means money to pass on.
Yes.
Making sure people don't have to work or whatever. But I've heard different definitions such as intellectual property, teaching, right? Teach a man to fish and they can eat forever kind of stuff, or just a lot of different iterations of it. So yeah, appreciate you sharing that. I think generational wealth takes on a lot of forms now.
Yeah, like I believe in generational wealth, but I don't believe generational wealth should be used to buy a Bugatti.
Yeah. Oh man, I know.
I don't believe that. I was like, if you're using generational,
let me have a Bugatti first, and then whatever's left over.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't believe that a person should have access to it just so they can buy a sports car.
Yeah, I think it's a little different too. Two sides of the coin, because you have folks like myself, and I would imagine yourself, who didn't grow up with money, right? I grew up with hand-me-downs and yard sale clothes. My parents crossed the border from Mexico, and so it's like I appreciate money a lot more.
Oh yeah.
If I don't need it, I don't buy it. I'm not flashy. I don't care for the fancy things, So I feel like my kids have a lot nicer things than I do. I'm afraid of spoiling them sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that fine line as a father who
Yes.
has a little more money now than my parents did at my age. So I don't know what's your take on that.
The way I believe is the one philosophy I always believe is that hard environment makes hard people. And that also applies to kids,
Yeah.
our kids as well. Because if we give them, obviously we want them to have a life better than ours,
Yeah.
but we also need to make them understand the experience that we went through. That's the way I see it. So yes, obviously, as you said, you're an immigrant, I'm an immigrant. You've seen poverty.
Yeah.
I've seen poverty, like what it really is. And the most important thing is to impart that experience and knowledge to your kids. So that way they learn. It's like, hey, your life that you have right now may be rosy, but this is not the case for everybody.
Yeah.
And you need to appreciate that because we have busted our butts to get here. I've experienced things that made me appreciate life a lot more. So when I see people on the street, making certain derogatory comments about certain things, I don't really appreciate it because I love this country for every opportunity I've got. Because look, whether you love America or not, just like we all have to admit it, America is the only place that you could come to this country with absolutely nothing in your pocket, and a bank is willing to take a risk on you to give you credit.
Is that still the way it is now?
Oh yeah. Like even America, it's like if you file a bankruptcy, a Chapter 7, Chapter whatever it is, you can have your credit be brought down to absolutely zero. Guess what the first thing a bank does? They come back, they're like, hey, here's a starter credit card. Let's rebuild this.
Yeah.
Yes, banks obviously have. Banks, I'm not going to go there, but it's like, yes, before you banks are not your friend.
Right.
Okay? They're there to make money. Come on, with the 30% interest rate on a credit card.
Yeah.
But at least it gives you something to work towards.
Yeah.
It's like the bank it's not their fault that they're charging those interest rates. You just have to be responsible and learn how to use it properly.
Yeah.
And if you're smart about it, you can literally build your entire life around it. Because this is the only country that's willing to take a risk on a nobody.
Yeah. And even so, like just going into business for yourself. I mean, you see it on the streets, people selling bottles of water, going to mow lawns, driving a crappy ass lawnmower, and you make $30, $40 a lawn. So interesting. What if you could give, as we're wrapping up here, one piece of advice to the younger generation or folks even just wanting to get into entrepreneurship, what would you tell them?
Never make it about yourself.
I have yet to hear that one.
Yeah, never make it about yourself. You have to be genuinely interested in people if you want to be in business. If you want to be an entrepreneur, the world does not revolve around you. It involves everybody else that's around you. Because from the vendors, from your employees, from your bankers and everything, you have to rely on all of those people and the relationships that you build to grow. So if you make it if you're going to complain and make it everything about you, it's like, oh, I don't have money. Oh, I didn't get into this for the right reason. I think my life is going under. I think I made the wrong decision. It's like, you shouldn't be in there in the first place if that's your mentality you want to have.
Yeah.
Because this is a long project. It's a long haul.
Yeah.
So if you want to be alone, if you want to make your business by yourself, you should just lock yourself in a room and become a streamer or something. That's literally like my recommendation. Go work for yourself and be a streamer.
I think it depends on the type of person you are too, because there you have your folks who are happy working a corporate 9 to 5. You have your entrepreneur, but then that splits into a lot of different categories too. Entrepreneur that's happy to be an owner operator.
Yes.
Maybe I don't want to build a team, or I'm happy living off mowing lawns, in the summertime, and then living off of that. So it depends on what kind of entrepreneur operator you want to be too.
But even if, like you mentioned, let's say you're a sole proprietor and you have a one man operation mowing lawns, guess what? How are you going to get those people to accept you to mow the lawns? You got to build those relationships. You got to make it about them.
Oh, they're going to be stuck in.
Yeah, you have to make it about them, because here's the thing. It's like a lot of the guys that I've mentored and everything have always said, they're like, oh, the relationship building is hard. I just feel like I just feel like I'm a little shy. I don't know what to say or anything like that. And I just don't want to come out as overbearing or anything like that. It's like, okay, that's great. But here's the thing. It's very simple. All you have to do to start off, if you want to build that relationship, ask that person's name.
Yeah.
You walk into a coffee shop, don't just go to the person. It's like, hey, I want a grano caramel macchiato, and then pay it. No. Ask for the person's name.
Yeah.
You really get to know them. All your clients that you potential clients that you're going to meet that you want, make it a habit to really understand who they are. Make it a habit to know, hey, do you have a family? When's your birthday? All of this.
I see exactly what you're saying now.
80% of people love to talk about themselves. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
Like they want to talk about themselves because they're excited. If you're not excited about yourself and your life, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
There's definitely something
Everybody
wrong.
has
with
a story
you.
to tell.
Yeah. Everybody wants to tell a story because they don't really get the opportunity to tell it enough. So if you want an easy door through, just make it about the other person.
Yeah.
It's never about you at the end of the day. Your issues, it's not comparable to 1,500 other people out there. You're just one speck in the world.
Yep. Man. Well, I really appreciate your time, Shaun.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we could talk for hours. I'm going to have to have you on again because there's
Yes,
a
sir.
lot to just go through and unpack. There's so many times I wanted to stop you to pick on something and
I
pull
know.
on a string. So
I know.
yeah, man. But thanks for coming on, dude.
Absolutely.
We'll see you around. All right. Where can folks find you?
You can find me on we have a Facebook page for Clear Paths Tax and Accounting. And I also have still my plumbing company and my construction company, which I've rebranded. It's called Clear Paths Construction and Property Services.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Sounds good, brother. All right.